doing over there?
The live is over here.
Okay. Are we live?
We are.
Is there anybody there?
There is.
Who?
I don't know. They haven't said anything in the chat
Well,
yet.
thank
And
God. They're not going to tell us. They're not
see.
going to suffer the indignity to be ridiculed by their friends. Okay. So do we have,
I think you...
What?
Are you... Okay, Daniel is there and Julie...
They actually put their names in there?
That's right, they did.
Oh, my God.
And I just said them on the podcast. Sorry, can I say your names on the podcast? I can edit out your last names.
I told the New York Times. I told the FBI.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Sorry.
I didn't think they'd print it.
No biggie, right?
Yeah. What do you expect?
Okay.
All right. So we are live, and we're actually live for the first time. We haven't done this before, but I just noticed that we were going to be able to do this by sending an RSTPC, GRHZ to Patreon, and we did. So I managed to hook it up, and it seems to actually be working because people are responding. There's a little chat going on.
Have they given us a finger yet?
I haven't seen it. All right. JS says,
Stop.
A peek behind the podcast curtain.
Oh, yeah.
DN says, off to a good start.
Oh, yeah.
Aha.
No, trust me. It's all downhill from here. Okay.
So anyway, live listeners and responders, welcome to Funny Not Funny. Anybody who's listening, both of you. And so I think this is the 819th episode of season 6. And we are live. We are live on Patreon. So, right. One of our commenters says, cold open. You can actually check this out, Lionel, because you're on the Patreon too.
Yeah, but I don't want to touch my keyboard at this point because I think
things will fall apart.
Yeah, it's a Jenga tower that's balancing precariously on one stick. So let's let sleeping dogs lie.
All right.
But I'm glad this is good. I'm glad, I'm glad we're doing this. I think it's wonderful that we did this, that we have the live stuff.
Yeah, I like it. So, and you can watch the live in the future. We usually record Wednesdays around 5:30
Eastern.
Eastern
I don't know, GMT minus 5. Who knows?
GMT minus 5 Eastern time. And
Sierra Tango.
Yep. You have to be a paid subscriber to see this. So this way, anything embarrassing happens or my kids show up, then we know it's just a small group of people and it's safe.
Right.
And it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
We have two
good
live. This is the very first thing, though, and I only announced it today. So that's actually quite good. And I'm happy to have them there. So we had an assignment. We had another assignment. We had a movie assignment, which I love. I love movie assignments. We were supposed to watch Tokyo Story by, and I forget his first name, Ozu. It's Yasujirō Ozu. And he made a very famous movie in 1951 called Tokyo Story, which we both did watch. And maybe we can just start with that one.
Well,
what were your
Tokyo? Well, before we start with that, I think it's really interesting because I'm amazed because what I've been taught is is that Citizen Kane,
right,
is the greatest movie ever made.
I like it.
It's a good movie. I like it.
Yeah.
But when you start digging into this, a lot of people say Tokyo Story. That's it.
Right.
I'm like, and I saw
really different scale.
I looked at Tokyo's. I watched it the first time, and I loved it. And I love a lot of films. Watching it this time, I sort of get why they're saying it.
Oh, okay.
I sort of get it. I think
because I didn't get it at all. I need some kind of, I need like a cheat sheet or something. I need to know why.
I think
this is the greatest movie ever.
I don't think it's the greatest. I think it's a really I'm sorry. It's a really stupid thing. There's a lot of great movies for a lot of great reasons.
Yeah.
Is 2001: A Space Odyssey a great movie? Absolutely. On so many counts. It's so much unlike every other movie ever made. It's fabulous. But there's other great movies. There's fabulous movies. There's movies that have absolutely no redeeming sociable content whatever, but they're usually fun and great to watch. And then there's films that are just, there's all different kinds of stuff. But the thing about Tokyo Story, watching it this time, is so the one thing, the first thing that everybody throws at you is the tatami shot.
Right, of course.
Which is the angle of the camera.
That's new for 1951.
Well, it's also a different viewpoint than classic Western movie making, where the shot is usually at like 6 feet.
Yeah.
The shots are at like 4 feet or 3 feet, and they're looking up, so they give a different thing. But I find that kind of facile. It's like, okay, great. So he lowered the camera by 3 feet, And also, I'd like to preface by saying that he made a lot of movies. If you look at his discography on Wikipedia, he made like 60 films. So this is us speaking about you having seen 2 of his films and me having seen 1 of his films twice. So with that asterisk next to everything that we say here, but it's beautiful when you look at the way he frames shots, and it's all these rectangles. When he does those shots, those interior shots going into like the kitchen or something like that, it's all these nested rectangles. It's exquisitely beautiful. And what's interesting is that on the wallpaper, there are these rectangles within the wallpaper too.
I noticed the wallpaper. I thought that was interesting. Some of the wallpaper looked very Western. There were round patterns in some of the wallpaper that was used.
But there's square sections. I don't know if they were patches or what, but some of the scenes are so exquisitely composed. Now, maybe it's just a complete mistake, but to me, they're unbelievably intricate and composed. And you have people, and it's a very narrow, like the actual scene of action is almost like a cell phone. It's very tall and narrow, because a lot of this either side is like bookcases or doorways or things like that. And all the action is taking place in this very tight, narrow space in the middle, and people are entering it and exiting from it, and the kids throwing the thing that flies across.
That's true.
It's really, so that's one thing I loved a lot, was that whole framing of these shots. And then he jump cuts to these external shots, which are gorgeous. And then he has like these motifs, which is like the factory smokestacks and the train overhead lines. And if you haven't seen the movie, everything I'm saying sounds like complete and utter nonsense. But the key thing is that, I'm talking about visual things, not anything about the plot or about what's said in it. So why don't you talk about that? Because we were talking about that earlier today, which is that it's a really sad film.
It is really sad. It's not as sad as Tokyo Twilight, much sadder. But Tokyo Story is a sad film. It is about, it is sad it's sad in a similar way. But Tokyo Twilight really deals with a much harsher reality. I think in both of the films, what really struck me just emotionally was how incredibly and unhealthily restrained emotionally everyone is.
Yeah.
And if they could just express themselves and their emotions, they would suffer so much less and drink less. There's this sense of like, do you drink? Do you drink? This gets asked a lot. Do you drink? And maybe that's kind of a standard way to kind of invite someone to drinks, to ask them if they do drink. But, you also get a sense that alcohol has ruined a lot of people's lives in this society. And even these beloved characters, one of them, he used to drink a little bit. He used to drink a little bit. And you realize, no, he didn't used to drink.
He drank a lot. He
drank a lot in a life-ruining way. And so there's this kind of hidden misery that is suppressed heavily. There's especially the widow of their son. It's all about 2 parents coming to see their kids.
In Tokyo.
In Tokyo. And they live, I couldn't place where they live. It sounded like they lived south and
Onamichi, I think is the name of the town.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they live far away, at least far away in 1951 terms.
A day and a half by train.
Right.
So a very long train ride. And I think they had to stop at Osaka on the way back. So it's probably a different direction. But they they have their happy life, but they've only got one daughter with them back home.
Right.
And then they came to see the rest of their kids in Tokyo. And I think they have a child in Osaka, but that was a little vague. And so they have a lot of kids. And what, eventually you realize that at least the father is unhappy with all of them. He's like, or his sons, or his son has been a disappointment to him because he's a doctor, but he's only a village doctor. And he says this in the bar to his friend.
That bar scene is fabulous.
Yeah.
That bar scene is fabulous. And the drunk scene afterwards when they come to the door. So as Jim said, it's a married couple. They have, I think it's like 6 children. One of them is one son is presumed dead.
Yes.
He's missing in action because it takes place shortly after World War II. And they come to Tokyo, and 4 of the remaining children, I think it's 4, I'm bad at math, 4 of the remaining children live in Tokyo. And they're a burden. That's basically, if you want to summarize Tokyo's story, it's the grandparents come from the country and none of the grandchildren want to hang out with them. Because they're being very formal and polite with the parents. Even the grandkids they don't have any time to spend with them.
They have no time. They've got busy lives in Tokyo, and you get a sense that you got to hustle to stay ahead in Tokyo.
Right. And the only person who shows them significant kindness is the widow of their son who died in the war.
He's missing for 8 years.
He's been missing for 8 years. So I mean, we could go on and on. I mean, I think this is why it's a great film. You can talk so much about a really quiet scene where it's like 3 guys in a bar. There's nobody else in this scene except for the bartender waitress who's like completely fed up with them, and she's off to one side, like just brushing her hair. But she's had it with them. They're idiots. And it's such
they're really drunk and they're not saying anything good.
They're completely in a hilarious non-Hollywood way, not in any kind of Hollywood way. It's really beautiful. And there's this one guy who's saying, "Oh, my son's a failure," and he goes on and on and on and on. And then the grandfather from the film, the main guy, he says, "Yeah, but." I think what he's trying to say is, yeah, but we're not doing so hot ourselves either. We got to, maybe we're not what our parents expected either. And
there was just a war. I mean, think about that. It's like, wow.
And that's the interesting thing is that the grandfather, he's really a fascinating character.
Great actor. Such a good actor.
And like you said, everything, and I think, I don't know, maybe a person growing up in Japan sees this film differently. It's hard to tell. But, us seeing it, there's not a lot of variation in facial emotion. There's not a lot going on, but he is fabulous. And he shifts in front of your eyes. Not in a major way, but very subtly. He's a little bit, he's a bit of a drunk earlier in his life, but he changed.
He did give it up.
He's insensitive, but not entirely so. He's disappointed, but not entirely so. I mean, he's a very interesting character.
The grandfather is the main character in many ways. I mean, we really see
the grandparents. Yeah, him and her. Yeah, they're really. Anyway, go ahead. I'm rambling on.
No. I mean, it is. There are a lot of subtleties in the film. When you watch this film after seeing Perfect Days, you realize, oh, well, I mean, Perfect Days is very much. It borrows a ton of things.
You think so?
From Tokyo Story.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, the scene in the bar is shot in a similar way, except that the bartender isn't impatient with the customers. Bartender is there's a much friendlier relationship there. In a sense, this is a very cold version of Perfect Days, except that, of course, it focuses on an entire family. Well, I guess Perfect Days does too. I just think that Wim Wenders had Tokyo Story in mind very much when making his movie. But we see much more of Tokyo in Perfect Days than we see in Tokyo Story, even though that's the name. Really, it's a story of a family.
Yeah.
It's not the story of the city.
And it's a story of very specific locales. I love the beauty parlor, the Ooh La La beauty parlor, and how in the early morning there's plastic all over everything. There's the trays of cosmetics covered with plastic coverlets.
Yep.
There's enormous attention. There's enormous beauty in the internal scenes, in these domestic internal scenes that I find so fascinating. So I think it really is kind of amazing to watch it, and
it does document a kind of a way of life too. Everyone is working out of some portion of their very small home. I think all of the characters who work out of some part.
Right, the doctor has a doctor's office in his house, and the Ooh La La has basically the hairstyling chairs in the living room.
Right.
And I forget who else. Those are the two main children. That's where the real focus is on the son who's a doctor and the daughter who's a beautician. Yeah.
Well, the widow too. The widow lives in a very small apartment.
Right. But she works at now that's
right.
You spark something fascinating to me, because the interesting thing, and I don't know, I may be making up this entire thing, but you have these and I think a lot of it is, I think, when somebody writes a novel without the letter E, what's the novel about? That's like a Zen thing I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody did write, there's a very famous French author who wrote an entire novel without using the letter E, which is the most common letter in the alphabet. So the question is, what's the novel about? Well, it's obviously about something.
The alphabet?
No, the actual story of the book has nothing to do with the letter E.
Huh.
But he didn't use the letter E. So the question is, what's the book about? And so, I'm sorry, I'm being purposely obscure, but the fascinating thing is what's left out. What does the movie not talk about? What does the book not talk about? And the fascinating thing is that you have these interior scenes where, for example, in the daughter-in-law's apartment, it's this very carefully structured internal domestic Japanese scene, and then there's a box of Rinso, clothes detergent. Did you see that?
No, I didn't notice that.
I saw it immediately, which is when, she's the nice one who actually talks to the grandmother.
Yeah.
And they have that aching conversation where the mother says, you should really remarry. And she's just having none of it.
Don't hold back on our account. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's not giving an inch on anything. And in that scene, it's beautiful. In it, there's a box of Rinso, R-I-N-S-O, right there, and right in the center of the bottom of the shot. And the other one is where she works, which is the trading company. There's that big Bridgestone tire that just sticks into the shot.
Right. That's actually that had to have been a couple of shots from Citizen Kane that you remember, like a single still from the movie. And there's I forget. It's funny. There's a still, and I think it's in Citizen Kane, where there's a parrot overlaid, and they did it imperfectly so that the eye is showing the background behind it. But in this one, it's that tire that sticks out into the shot that just says Bridgestone. And it could, of course,
what?
I mean, that's what it means is they've been conquered by the West.
Right. No, I wouldn't go that far.
But there is that sense of like, there's an invading culture.
There's modernity.
There's modernity, but there's also Western modernity specifically.
Right. And that's
not Chinese modernity, and not from somewhere in the East.
Right.
It's from the other side of the planet.
And he has that shot of the smokestacks. And in fact,
again and again.
Again and again. And then there's a point where she's like walking, the grandmother's walking with the boy. And this is where everybody who's listening to us says, really, you guys got to get a life.
I don't know if they're still there. Oh, no, we've lost one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing good.
And Damien just called me. I wonder if he's calling me to say something like, everything's being converted to.
No, we're narrow casting. So this is not going to anything. We would see Damien here if Damien was there. Yeah.
So, yeah, the smokestack smoke you see behind other shots and things like that. So, again, this is kind of an arid conversation if you haven't. But anyway, we've seen it. This is conversations between you and me. I think it's really deep, and I think, like you said, nobody like the only. I'd have to watch it a second time, but I think the only people who actually touch each other are the daughter-in-law and the grandmother. They're the only people who actually hold hands. I don't think the grandfather ever touches the grandmother.
In both movies, and I know you didn't see the second one, in both movies, it's like achingly painful to see one of the characters just break down in tears and everyone else just watches them.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Right. But the interesting thing about that is that it forces you, it trains you to be much more in tune to other things, to very subtle facial gestures and very subtle verbal clues. And the problem is we're watching it with English subtitles, so we're missing a lot of we've got to be missing a lot of
I should watch it again and just turn the subtitles off, because I know the story and I know the dialogue now. I could just watch the movie this time.
That's an interesting idea to do.
There's nothing they say. And also they don't say very much. The only really significant things that are said really near the end of the movie. When the grandmother and the daughter-in-law are talking, that's significant. And at the very end,
right,
is very significant. And also super cold and really
nihilist.
Weird. Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, I love that exchange at the beginning. Where's the air mattress?
Yes, it's right. It opens
with them packing.
And you realize she's got to sit on like an air cushion on the train.
Huh?
Where's the air cushion?
And he's adamant that she had it.
I put it in your bag.
No, I thought I gave it.
You didn't. Keeps looking.
Yeah.
And he looks cursively.
He goes, "Oh, here it is.
Oh, I've got it. Here it is."
And he never says, "I'm sorry," or anything like that.
And they're not, you get I just fill in, right? So emotionally, I'm filling in saying, okay, well, this is how they are. They don't show affection to each other, but they at least know that they're affectionate toward each other. But then I'm like, well, okay. I'm covering for them, like in some weird way, right?
I want them to be happy.
Oh, you can't possibly be this nasty to each other. They're not nasty,
but they're
just really cold, really cold.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it cold. They're not antagonistic. It seems like they just dealt with each other for a long time, and they've come to some, and
it's realistic. Yeah,
they're soldiering through, which is what people used to do. Which is like, okay, I'm in this. This is it. So I better make the best of what's going on.
There's early on too. You see a mix of Western garb and Western clothing and traditional Japanese clothing. That really stood out to me. Like, it stands out during the film. And you realize that the woman in traditional clothing is dressed that way because she's running a hair salon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a complicated Shige.
Yeah.
She's a complicated character.
Characters are well written. They're
really well
written
because it'd just be easy if she was just the harridan, the uncaring daughter who just wants to hustle to get ahead. And it's like, no, we're not going to hand you that on a platter.
No. Her relationship with her husband and her husband, all the side characters also kind of complex, even though we don't really get into why, but it's the way it's acted and filmed. You get the sense that the husband's got to carefully has to navigate the dynamics of the family that he's married into.
Yeah.
Right. Of the hair salon, the hair stylist. And he's pretty skillful with that, but he definitely is pretty sotto voce about anything.
Right. He's not making waves. He's not taking command at all.
No. It's totally up to her. And like when her father comes in with somebody they don't even know,
that was
from the bar.
That's the best scene in the world.
And they collapse in the salon chairs
and just
she like nod off.
It's the only time you see people touching anybody else, and she's hitting her father, and it's such an exquisite expression of just raw child anger.
Yeah,
and
kind of rage
parent.
That's kind
of idiot. You
and he won't remember any of this too. Maybe is why, like, she's able to just kind of unload on him.
She whacks him. I mean, she's going at him pretty hard for the movie. I mean, in the incredibly muted scale that is Tokyo Story, this is like a chainsaw murder going on. Yeah. It's amazing. It's a very powerful, and you really feel for her.
Yeah.
And they're so funny.
And for the widow, especially, of course.
So funny, the drugs. And there's nothing like hilariously funny about them. It's not a Hollywood like they're
there's no slapstick. No, there's
no slapstick.
They're just so drunk they can't move. And also they didn't a policeman had to get them home.
Here's your friends. Good night.
Yeah, here are your friends. And he says, and then the father comes in and she's like, okay. And then this other guy,
who are you?
Who are you?
Russell.
Can't talk. So they have to give up their beds and go upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie. I think the reason why people accorded such high things, I think you can go back to that movie and probably watch it again and again and again.
And see something new.
And extract a little, because it's so layered and so dense visually. Like if you're into the visual thing, there's something there for you. Yeah. And if you're into dynamics and expressing emotion, there's something there for you. What is interesting, and this is something that's not nebulous and speculative on my part, is that when I stopped the movie and went back to my normal screens, I was like blinded. And you don't realize how dark the tone of the entire film is. I mean, it's in black and white, but there's very little white.
It's true. There isn't. The sky is always kind of cast.
And you rarely see the sky. Mostly it's interior shots.
Yeah.
And it's vastly gray and dark gray. And it's really a very, very dark. And I think it's not dark in the sense of depressing, but it's very much a very intimate, closed, internal kind of feeling to it. You really feel like you're inside a room, inside a closed universe, which I think is part of the interesting part of it. Now, what we have to do, I've made an executive decision as part of the executive board of this podcast.
Oh, well, I answer to the board.
We have to go back 5 years. And you and I have to rewatch a film.
Okay.
The Bicycle Thieves.
The Italian film?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is
that's
magnificent film. And it'd be interesting if we could figure out if Ozu ever saw that. I got to believe he did.
Isn't that an earlier film?
It's 48. Bicycle Thieves is 48.
Bicycle Thief, singular, I believe.
Thieves.
It's thieves?
Yeah, ladri di bicicletta. The ladri, the thieves. Yeah, somebody told me that. They said, oh yeah, some film snob. And now I've been infected. I'm a film snob too now. It's like being a zombie. And he said, oh, it's not the bicycle thief, you peasant. It's ladri di bicicletta. It's
just
gasoladra.
It's just bicycle thieves. It's no the.
No, it's bicycle thieves, plural.
No, I'm sorry, bicycle thieves. You're right.
Right.
It is. Also known as the bicycle thief.
That's wrong.
I see.
It's not the bicycle thief. It's bicycle
just
thieves.
Kind of that's.
Which of course is part of the. You've seen that movie? Have you seen?
Why do we have to? Yes, but it's painful to watch. It's so sad.
It's so beautiful. No, it's not sad at all. It's wonderful.
It's not sad.
It's
one of the saddest movies I've ever seen.
But we got to watch it.
Okay. All right. I'll watch it again. In 1951, The African Queen came out.
Humphrey.
Streetcar Named Desire. An American in Paris. Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Alice in Wonderland what? Hold on. Alice in Wonderland by who?
No, wait a minute. It's the animated. Never mind.
By Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're talking about 51 now?
Othello. Othello with
Paul Robeson?
Orson Welles.
No.
Yep.
Orson Welles played Othello?
Played by Orson Welles. Yeah. That's a little tone deaf.
Really? There's an Othello where Othello is played by Orson Welles?
Orson Welles.
We got to watch that one. Yeah. We got to throw that on this stack.
We just focus on 1951. The Lavender Hill Mob.
Oh, that's
detective story.
Oh, Lavender Hill Mob is, what is it? It's all the great British comedians of the time. It's
Henry Holland. No, that's the character name.
No, it's
Alec Guinness. Stanley Holloway, Sid James, and Alfie Bass.
Yeah, but it's Alec Guinness. It's and then they made another one.
Stop at Alec Guinness.
Yeah, no, it's a famous movie. And then there's The Lady Killers, I think, which was the same.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful film with him.
I think it's the same group of people. It's sort of like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which is basically the same crew of people, who's also the crew of people who made the remake of Ocean's 11, who's also the crew of people who made Bullet Train, which I highly recommend as one of those films that has absolutely no redeeming social value whatsoever in any way whatsoever.
I saw that. It's a lot of fun.
It's amazingly hilarious. It's a wonderful movie, and it's utterly violent and completely lacking in any moral compass or any socially redeeming value, and it's a hoot. And I totally recommend it. If you
Strangers on a Train came out in 1951.
Really?
Yeah, Hitchcock. So I guess it's like when we say this is the best movie ever made, like even in the same year, there are a lot of competitors.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about why people say that. I think it might be worth investigating. Like maybe there's some very densely reasoned logic. I watched the guy from New York Times talk about it, and all he just said is that it's perfect and it's very subdued and it doesn't go overboard and it talks about deep issues. I'm like, okay, thanks, dude. Seriously, they pay you to like write this stuff for the New York Times? I mean, it was only 3 minutes. I guess I can't fault them too much. I'm probably about as good as I would have done in a similar situation. But it'd be interesting if there's more substantive explanation about why it's considered the greatest. Maybe our live viewer has. Do we still have any live viewers anymore? Did we?
I don't know. Yeah, wait a minute. We have. Strangely, we have 2. But I can't see their names. I think.
Good. They're getting smarter now.
Daniel is still with us. And Daniel, chime in, guys, if you can actually still hear this. It says it's using auto moderation. Why? I don't want auto moderation. But yeah, just say hi, ask us any questions, or if you have any comments. I mean, A Streetcar Named Desire came out in 51. Right? Tennessee Williams play with Vivian Leigh, Marlon Brando. It's certainly a good film.
Have you seen it?
Not in a long time.
Okay, but you did see it at one point. Let me tell you. I'll tell you something, which is I think we talked about this on a previous episode. I watched Guys and Dolls, which is a really long film. A little long for me, but a really long film with Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando.
Oh, yeah.
And Marlon Brando dances.
Oh.
And he woos this young woman and he sings. And you know what? He kicks ass. Marlon's great. I mean, I was just amazed because all I knew about Marlon Brando at that point was Stella from Streetcar Named Desire and from Apocalypse Now, or On the Waterfront. I could have been a contender. That's all I thought in my head is that he's just sort of like
a brute.
Yeah, well, he's just this eruptive actor. He's like this Hamlet. He's deep. And in Guys and Dolls, he's just hoofing it and singing and putting on a show. And he was great. And it's just wonderful to see that. Great film. If you've never seen that, did you ever see? I'm sure we talked about this before. Did you see what's often considered the greatest musical? Which, of course, the moment I said that, the title of it flew out of my head.
The best musical?
Oh, Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain?
Yeah.
No, I love that movie.
Fabulous.
I mean, and a lot of people criticize me for that. Like, some of my friends are like, "You love Singing in the Rain?"
It's fabulous.
Actually, I got it from my wife, Catherine. I mean, she was like, "This is an amazing movie," and it totally friggin' is.
It's an amazing movie. It's like art dance. It's like this guy from, where is he from? Scranton. Gene Kelly was from like Scranton, PA.
Oh, yeah.
He's a prodigy, and he does Singing in the Rain, and you have these incredibly high concept. You remember the one where the woman's got the scarf that's like 30 feet long?
Yeah, yes.
She's like, and it's just, there's wind blowing, and there's a scarf that it's totally bizarre, and it totally
it's an amazing
works.
And the plot is great, but you realize, of course, you look at it a couple of times and you realize, okay, Gene Kelly and what's his the guy who's make 'em laugh.
That's fabulous. Donald O'Connor. Fabulous,
Man,
fabulous
dude.
Cameo, because you're getting kind of taught, you're just like, I'm seeing a lot of Gene Kelly here. And then Donald O'Connor does his make 'em laugh thing.
Yeah.
Which is just like, oh my God. This guy's got more talent than his finger.
You realize that Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor had a basket of songs, and they wanted to make a musical with the basket of songs they had, right? None of the songs really relate, right? Except for, no. They
like
made
Mamma
the
Mia.
plot.
They don't really go together, but you know what?
It doesn't. But the way they did that is so brilliant. And the fact that they turned it into the rise of the talking pictures and what it did for the actors, the directors, the writers, the filmmakers, and everything, which is really the plot.
Yeah. Great movie. Anyway,
right?
we've sort
it's
of
so good. I want to. We do have a substantive comment here.
Oh boy.
Yep. Julie says, when I took film studies, my professor said Grand Illusion is usually voted by critics as the best film ever made. Grand Illusion
by Renoir, Jean Renoir. And he also wrote.
I've never seen this.
He also did what's the La Règle du Jour, the rules of the game. I've never.
No. Yeah, it is by Renoir.
Yeah, it's the two great movies by Jean Renoir, The Grand Illusion and La Règle du Jour, which is the rules of the game.
During World War I, two French soldiers are captured and imprisoned in a German POW camp. Several escape attempts follow until they're eventually sent to a seemingly inescapable fortress. I say we watch this.
You want to do that? We'll watch that, and then
we'll watch that in the bicycle.
We can watch that in the Dirty Dozen. That sounds like the Guns of Navarone.
We can focus just on Renoir?
Just escape movies. That's what we should do. Escape from military prisons. Okay, all two of you.
He wrote The Grand Illusion, and then right after that, he wrote The Rules of the Game.
Well, we watch those two because they're considered very, those are.
Why don't we take those two?
People are just obsessed with those films.
Yeah. I like this. I like taking a single director, though, like not mixing, sort of cleaner that way.
So
you can kind of trace the vision across.
So I didn't see Tokyo Twilight for reasons I expressed before. Can you,
Lionel doesn't have HBO Max, which seems like that's the only way to watch it, right? You can't rent it?
No, I couldn't find a way to do it. I had to get like a subscription to HBO Max, and that just annoys me to no end. I'll eventually buckle and watch it. But you watched it. It was
I did.
Let's put it this way. Is it significantly different from Tokyo Story?
It's very well. The way he shoots and the color scheme, all of that is the same. In some ways, the characters are more expressive, and in some ways less even expressive with tragic consequence. And the main actor is the same actor who plays the grandfather.
Really?
And you realize they aged him for Tokyo Story.
Really?
With makeup. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a younger man than he appears in Tokyo Story. He must have been, because he looks much younger in Tokyo Twilight. A different family in Tokyo. As a father raising two daughters, and both of them have different kinds of trouble. And it's really a story about how they relate to each other and how they relate to him, how they try and work out their troubles in a world where nobody can really say directly what's going on. And a lot is unspoken. And again, the tragedy comes from what's unspoken. So it feels like Ozu has something to say about that. Like, why can't we just talk about what's going on?
Do you really Really?
in Japan.
Do you really think that? I mean,
I get that sense because it just happens. It happens twice.
But just
there are preventable
merely
problems.
that you point something out, are you necessarily pointing out a resolution to it? I think sometimes you just point out that people can't talk to each other. Not that it'd be great if we all talk to each other, but this is just how it goes, folks. Sorry. It's just like that's human nature.
I'm not sure how you're going to see this film, but I don't want to give away anything because I think Tokyo Twilight is at least as good as Tokyo Story.
You dug it?
Certainly in terms of cinematography. And certainly in terms of acting. And I think the story's even more compelling.
Huh.
At least I related to the story, being a father of 2 kids. I guess I related a little bit. The father can't solve the problems of his daughters. Or isn't able to because, well, one is more forthcoming than the other. But so one is basically saying that her husband is abusive and drinks too much. Again, with the alcohol.
Right.
And she had to leave him. But she says it in a kind of a roundabout. She doesn't quite, I think she did say he drinks and he's just gotten dark and depressing. He's gotten dark. He used to be more upbeat. But there's an implied abuse in what she says. And so the father's like, how that actor just like, one of the things I want to point out was like in Tokyo Story and in Tokyo Twilight, I don't know why, but Japanese always feels like it's right on the edge of something I can understand. Like maybe if past lives are real, I was Japanese at some point, because I always feel like, why can't I understand what they're saying? But what always strikes me is, we always imagine that the Japanese yes is height, and it almost never gets used. It's always,
What I thought was interesting about Tokyo Story, now that you've veered onto that path, is that the son, who's the doctor, is very much like the father. It's that thing. It's a
right.
He doesn't really say a lot. He just makes that noise like the father does.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Now maybe it's just like a normal part of Japanese interaction. Who knows? I mean, maybe we're just idiots.
Her illness is terminal. She's going to die.
Yeah, he's a really inscrutable character in Tokyo Story. The son who's a doctor, but he really feels like the father. That just very much sort of like accept anything.
Yeah. I guess as an American, what you're just like, you want to just start screaming at like, just tell him, but that's the plot in a lot of Western films too, is, the characters who can't say the terrible secret, and the terrible secret ends up killing them because they can't say the terrible secret. I mean, that is often a plot tool that is used.
Yeah, I get a different feeling from Tokyo Story. I really do. I don't get a feeling like this is something that would be fixed if everybody just talked to each other.
I agree with Tokyo Story. That is, yes. Because
this is just the way it is. It's just, this is modernity.
Other problems, yeah.
This is modernity.
There are problems that can't be solved through talking it out in Tokyo Story. Absolutely.
Right.
And mostly is that the kids...
They're hustling, like you said. They're hustling.
Yeah, they just don't have time.
They don't have time,
parents.
And their parents are like,
don't have a lot of time.
The grandparents are just in the way. They're bumpkins. They're bumpkins.
And
the
seriousness of the situation hasn't really dawned on them until the end of the movie.
But that's the trick, is that we can't see.
They're not coming back.
We can't. Yeah. The problem I have with Tokyo Story is that are they bumpkins? Because that word has a very, very specific.
That's a really good point.
English.
That's a really good point.
And like, is onomichi like some kind of weird word for buttholesville or something? Just some.
Yeah,
it's
Valley City, South
the
Dakota.
Hicks.
They're
from they're from Nowheresville, and you miss all that tonality, but nobody seems to really care much about that. And but a lot of it, it's really hard to tell. So I just wonder how much I'm missing in translation here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll never find.
We wouldn't know. Like, do they talk a little different than their kids? Are the kids, using more urban lingo?
Right.
I mean, all of that is lost in translation for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that we want to talk about that movie.
No.
But another comment from Julie. Julie, thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I noticed that our video keeps going out. I think you can still hear the audio, but the video goes in and out. We'll keep trying this. Let's see. Also, agreeing with Lionel's comment from way back, I had a professor point out that the original French name of the bicycle thief is plural, and how that's important, and the English title is unfortunate. Despite there being only one thief in the movie, there's actually two. It's a commentary on how we're all bicycle thieves. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or something like that.
Oh, yeah. True. Spoiler. Yeah. Thanks, Julie. Yeah.
I gave it all away. There's two thieves.
That's it. Julie's one. Julie's banned from the chat.
There's one.
Hey, where's the mod?
How you count it.
Banned Julie from the chat. No, it's true.
It's true. Count it like, there's only one, but then, and that's why it's.
And Darth Vader is Luke's father. FYI. Luke. He signs Vater.
Luke. We got an LOL from Julie. There we go.
Okay.
That's what I live for. I live for the lulz.
We love for the lulz. That's what.
And then Julie wrote, Rosebud.
What?
Rosebud.
Yeah. Rosebud. Yeah. Actually, the Citizen Kane, I remember seeing it like probably about 5 years ago. It deserves
a kick-ass film.
The photography alone and just the lighting and the angle of the shots and the energy of the shots. It's just, that film is rock and roll. It is rock and roll. You're right, and it's so different from Tokyo. So they're completely different animals. But Citizen Kane has got the volume cranked. You know what I mean? It's like very American.
Orson Welles is like, we're going to make every shot rock.
Yeah,
and that is not what Ozu is trying to do.
No. That's great. That's wonderful. In fact, they're probably two great films to watch, one right after another, and go, wow. I can't. The palette is so wide. That you can go back and forth between so many things. So what else is? So we got Jean Renoir for next week. Right. So
2 movies by Renoir, Jean Renoir. And
he's a son. He's a son of Paul Renoir.
Oh, get out of here! That's amazing.
Oh yeah, he's a son of Renoir.
I had no idea, and I've never watched anything by him. I don't think so. La Grande Illusion and The Rules of the Game. I don't know why.
Only film geeks watch them.
And excellent. Oh, wait. La règle du jeu.
La règle du jeu. The rules of the game.
And there's 2 others listed here. I want to say that I looked on IMDb and somebody made a list of all the best movies in 1951. There were 22 films. Tokyo Story wasn't on it. So I think this is, I definitely see how, I think Tokyo Story is a very important film because I think it changes the pace of filmmaking.
Well, it's so not Hollywood.
Yeah, it's complete. It's like it's the most important indie film, but it's not an indie film. It was made. It's just not American. It's
not Hollywood.
It's not Hollywood. Didn't come out of Hollywood. But I think it's really important, especially, and it's great that we watch these in this order because I know Wim Wenders actually made his own Tokyo Story movie. I forget what he called it. He made it years earlier, but Wim Wenders is much more on the Ozu track than anything else. And you kind of, it sharpens that distinction between Singing in the Rain, and Citizen Kane, and Perfect Days and Tokyo Story. Mm-hmm. Really different beasts. And we've seen a lot of the first and not a lot of the second. So that has been really refreshing for me.
Well, if you want to talk about the second, it's really interesting because I remember when I went to Haverford and was it Haverford? I forget. Or his high school.
We went to Haverford College
Moliere.
Together, yes.
Yeah, we went to Haverford. I'm trying to remember where I learned this. I read Moliere plays like The Miser and The School for Wives. And I remember the instructor teach me, it all takes place in 24 hours. It's a very tightly constrained frame. A Moliere play, there's a really definite frame around it. There's no car chase scenes, okay, in a Moliere play. It takes place in 24 hours and everything's resolved in 24 hours. And so I'm always fascinated by people who work within that tight frame. And I always come back and think about Glenn Ross.
Oh,
yeah. And and really what I think is Glenn Ross for the 2000s, which is Margin Call, which is a hideous title for a film. It's a film that was blighted with a crappy title, but it's a magnificent film because it takes place in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's very internal, and the music has nothing to do. There's no music.
Yeah.
And it's very compressed and very claustrophobic, and it's really focused on tight spaces and people under pressure. And it's that whole, it's not, because with movie making, it's just great to have these expansive visions. And here's the Star battleship, here's the Death Star, and here's the Rings of Saturn, or here's the Sands of Arabia in VistaVision going off with Peter O'Toole riding the camel. And the opposite thing is, let's go deep, let's crunch it down, and let's just compress it as far as we can compress it. But it's not claustrophobic. I mean, the thing about Tokyo Story is it's absolutely not claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, it isn't. Well, I mean, the living quarters are small. That is definitely.
But they're not claustrophobic.
But they're not claustrophobic. No, they're actually quite pleasant. I mean, everything feels like it could blow over in a strong wind. And that was one of the things. Oh, and I want to point out in Tokyo Story, one of the best two scenes are when that neighbor comes by through the window, and you're looking, and it's the way it's shot from that low angle, and you're looking at the foreground, and you're looking at the neighbor, and they're both in focus.
I missed like the last 30 minutes of it. So did it occur at the very end?
You haven't seen the end of Tokyo Story?
I saw it when the first time I saw it. I remember the famous phrase when the grandfather says, "Maybe I should have been nicer to her."
Yes.
Which is really touching.
Bit of an understatement, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I don't remember that scene. But again, I don't.
No, the last line is you're going to be lonely. And he goes, huh. End of movie, which means yes. Thank you.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. She's dead. You're going to be lonely.
Yep. Yeppo. I wonder how it's sold.
The neighbor walks off like da da da.
Yeah. Well, that's a very important part of it. That's a very important part of it, which is sort of like what's that famous poem? I forget the guy, the Musée de Beaux-Arts, where he's talking about the Bruegel picture, The Flight of Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
It's It's like a poet from the 1940s or from the 1950s. It's called the Musée de Beaux-Arts, and it's about flight of. It's probably like Gerard Manley Hopkins. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking up The Flight of Icarus.
Musée de Beaux-Arts. It's Musee de Beaux.
Landscape with the Fall of Icarus.
Right. That's the painting, but the poem is called Musée de Beaux-Arts, which is Musee. Just put an Musee poem. What do you get? This is so boring. This is excruciating.
Poetry Foundation. Are we going to read a poem? I'm not sure I have time for that.
No, I don't want to read I don't want to read the poem. I just want to.
About the suffering, they were never wrong. The old masters.
No.
Well they
yes. Who's that?
By W.H. Auden.
W.H. Auden. Musée de Beaux-Arts.
Slouch.
No.
No slouch. He's
We have to have Jim Infantino's ratings. W.H. Auden. No slouch.
No slouch. Just 2 words.
Emily Dickinson. She's on her game.
T.S. Eliot. No one has to tell him to get off the stick.
Anyway.
All right. I'm going to call it.
No.
Okay, go ahead. Musée de Beaux-Arts.
The reason why I mention that is that in Musée de Beaux-Arts, at the end of it, if you've got it on your screen, it says that Icarus falls and the ship, having somewhere to get to, sailed calmly on. And the whole point of the poem is that here's Icarus descending from the sky on fire and all this stuff, and nobody cares. Everything's going on around him. And everybody has somewhere to get to and sails calmly on. And you see that in Tokyo Story, which is like, okay, your life's a failure. Okay, let's go to bed. Thanks. Yeah. Good night. Wow. It's just like people just say, okay,
of course.
Does not compute. There's nothing I can do about that. Or I don't know, maybe in Japan it means something different. Maybe there's some subtle thing. But
I can only react to the movie, from within my own culture. So I don't want to pretend that I understand what it means from the Japanese point of view. But yeah, those are my reactions.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. If I do get a chance, I'm going to dig into it a little further. Like if there's like a book or an article. Yeah.
If you can see Tokyo Twilight, I recommend it. We can talk about it separately because I guess it's a testament to Tokyo Story that we could talk for a full hour, more or less, just about that one movie. So
I'd love to find somebody who's seen like a significant number of his films because he did a lot of films. It's like talking about Miyazaki only after seeing like My Neighbor Totoro.
No, of course, we can't really. We'd have to see a lot more. Early Spring is the one that directly follows Tokyo Story. There's a ton of them.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay,
and they're all on HBO Max, unfortunately.
Well, it may be worth the money. I'll just have to pony up. Okay,
don't we all? Anyway, thank you to our live listeners, and thank you to our eventual listeners out there in the ether.
And give us feedback on how if there's anything that was howlingly wrong with this.
Just
don't let us know.
Please send your email to dustbin@funnynotfunny.net.
We don't want to know. Nobody wants to know how bad it's gotten. Nobody really wants to know what's going on. Seriously, just leave well enough alone. Hide your dirty laundry. Yeah.
Your podcast is bad. It's hopeless.
No. No.
I'm just picturing the end of the movie. The neighbor comes by the window. Nobody listens to you. You should quit.
That'd be great. We should do a parody of Tokyo Story. Okay.
All right.
Enough said.
I'm rolling.
Bye.
I'm rolling. Funny Not Funny is produced by Jim Infantino at Slab Media in Boston. Jim Infantino and Lionel Casson are the co-hosts. Our website is funnynotfunny.net. The theme music is from the song Wheel from the album Utopia Revisited by Jim. The opinions presented by the co-hosts are ridiculous and should not be taken seriously by anyone. Our intended audience is literally nobody. If you're listening to this podcast, you should probably pause to reflect on other choices you've recently made. Please do not subscribe or leave a rating or review. It only encourages us to make more. Thanks for listening.